Welcome back, everybody. Hey, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to carve a hiking stick medallion made out of a scrap piece of deer antler, and I'm going to be carving a wild turkey feather on here. So join with me and let's get started. Okay, this is the scrap piece of deer antler I had laying around. It's somewhere around 2.5 inches, maybe an inch or inch and a quarter wide. It's a whitetail antler, and you can see that it is a little bit porous on the inside, but I'm going to be mainly carving on the outside edge of it. Now normally I would take this over to the bandsaw and just split it in half. What I decided to do here was just to put it on the belt grinder and just work with it and grind it down to about halfway mark. And then you can see, if I can hold on to it, you can see how it turned out. A little bit porous in the middle, but again I'm going to be carving on the outside edge of it. And here you can see me with my micromotor tool, and I'm just cleaning out a spot, not taking off very much material here, just cleaning, getting the rough bark off of the outside of the antler. Okay, here you can see me just drawing out a wild turkey feather, and this is supposed to be going to be eastern wild turkey. Don't hold me to it. It may not be exactly one for one looking like a turkey feather, but it will from an artistic standpoint. Okay, here I am going ahead and tracing out the turkey feather with the ball burr, and this really works well. You can see the diagram of the upper left there, what the tip of it looks like, but then the bottom it shows it leaves kind of a round ditch or a trench, and you want to stay to the outside of the pencil marks, which is what I'm doing here, and it really carves really well. Curved lines, irregular lines, or you can get it pretty straight. Even straight lines do pretty well with this particular bit. So here I'm using something called a very small inverted cone burr. This works really well for making fine lines, and I'm beginning to outline I guess you could call this the quill part, or I think it's called the calamus, but this is the structure in the middle of the feather that really holds the whole feather together. And I'm tipping this at, say, about a 30-degree angle. You can see the upper left picture of the bit, what it looks like on the end. Again, it's an inverted cone burr, and bottom there it just basically leaves a very small V cut in the antler, and it works out great for making these kind of cuts. And a little bit later here I'm going to be using it for defining the feather a little bit more. Okay, here I'm using something called I guess you call it a flame burr. It's tapers toward the end, but it sort of curves around a little bit like if you cut a football in half, I guess. But what you're seeing me do now is I'm using this burr, and you see the upper left-hand diagram of what it's cutting out, but it's basically feathering out or smoothing out that little curved trench that I had created with the ball burr when I outlined the feather. And now I'm just coming back with this burr, and I'm smoothing that out and making it kind of a transition to more of a flat area. And this is going to make that feather really stand up from the antler and kind of turn it more into a relief carving. Now this is a diamond burr, and I'm not exactly sure what you call it. It's got something that looks a little bit like a disc at the end of it. You can see in the diagram upper left, and I'm going around the edge. Basically what I'm doing is I'm undercutting the turkey feather, going into it, underneath it a little bit, and what that's going to do is kind of create a little bit of a shadow effect, and it just makes it look like the feather is sort of floating on the surface of the antler. And this is a diamond burr, so it's not quite as aggressive. The other burrs that I was using earlier considered more carbide burrs, but this one is a little less aggressive. But as you can see, it does a great job of undercutting your relief carving and leaving a little bit of depth in there and a little bit of shadow. Okay, in this shot, I just want to kind of show you my setup. And one thing I want to recommend if you're working with deer antler, make sure you wear a good respirator. I like to wear this ellipse respirator, and you can see that I have a fan blowing across the work area. If you've got a dust collector, or a vacuum, you could mount the hose up there in the area where you're carving, and hopefully it will collect that fine antler dust, because you definitely don't want to be breathing that antler dust in, and also it helps cut down on any odor that you might have when you're carving on deer antler. So here I am again back with the inverted comb burr, and you can see me putting in the lines of the feather to better define that feather. And this is probably the most tedious part of the whole thing, but you can see that that inverted comb burr does a really good job, and it tracks fairly straight too when you're carving across the antler like this. And here I'm just coming back with that flame burr and just sort of flattening, expanding the area around the feather a little bit more, flattening out the area, uh, kind of rounding over some of those sharp corners, and just sort of tidying things up. Here I'm using the disc sander, and it came in really handy just to sort of shape it. I want to give it a little bit more of an oval shape, and also take off some of the bark. But now you may want to leave the bark on. Some of these carvings look pretty well if you leave some of the bark on, but I'm going ahead and sanding it all off. Now here you can see I'm using my spindle sander, and this is how I'm going to get the curve in the back of the carving, and this is what I'm going to make it fit to my hiking staff. Now if you don't have one like this, you could use maybe a drum sander or maybe a dowel with some aggressive sandpaper on it, but use whatever tools that you have at your disposal. Now here I'm going around with this, I think it's a 220 grit, sort of like a flap wheel, and just lightly going over the antler and kind of smoothing out some of the carving marks, and you just want to do it really lightly. And here I'm going over the hiking stick medallion with my micro mesh cloths, and these get very fine grits on them, even all the way up to 20,000 grit, although you really don't need that. I mean, if you've got 600 grit sandpaper, that's probably plenty. But as you get the finer grits, the antler will actually begin to polish up and shine pretty nicely. I don't know if you can see it in this photo, but it's polishing very well. Now, I'm kind of new to coloring deer antler, but I thought for this carving, I'm just going to experiment with acrylic paint. And I'm using moccasin brown, goldenrod, and then a black acrylic paint. And I thought it turned out very well, but I'm going to kind of give you some highlights here as we go through the process. I'm going to start by adding that moccasin brown paint, and what this is going to be kind of the base color, and it's going to fill in all those little small V cuts that I made for the feather. And here you see me sort of dry brushing on the goldenrod color. So my attempt here is to try to leave the brown, uh, a little bit of the brown in the background and in those crevices, and then the goldenrod sort of stands out a little bit more on the surface. So now with a very fine tip brush, I'm going in and adding the black bands for the turkey feather. And if you look at a turkey feather, the top band is a little bit wider. In real life, it may actually be wider than what I'm showing you here. And in real life, turkey feather is a little bit darker than this, but the first band, the black, is a little bit wider at the top. And then you're going to see me just starting to transition to smaller bands as I work down the feather, and then I'll add a few little black dots toward the base of the feather. Now to give that antler and the acrylic paint a little bit more of a seal, I'm adding this polyacrylic clear matte, and it works really well. It's water based. I'm going to use a brush, and I'm just really lightly brush it on. Now you do have to be careful with this, because if you're too aggressive, you might actually pull some of that acrylic paint off. Some might recommend using a spray at this point instead of trying to brush it over, but if you're really light and gentle with it, it works pretty well. And this stuff, dries pretty quick. You can use a hair dryer. I mentioned that when you're painting with the acrylics or water-based stuff like this, you can use a hair dryer to speed up the drying process. And I believe I put on like 3 coats of this, so I thought it looked pretty well. So clear matte finish. It does have a like slightly gloss to it, but it's still fairly flat. One thing I also did is I took my carving knife and I scraped that the quill there in the middle, or the calamus, or whatever you want to call it. I scraped the paint off of that so that it would look more natural and sort of stand out from the rest of the carving. But here's the finished product after it's dried. I thought it turned out really well. And now I'm going to go ahead and use some epoxy and attach it to a hiking stick. Okay, here's the finished hiking stick medallion, and I have epoxied it to my hiking staff. Here in a minute, you'll see the topper. I've got my John Muir topper up on the top there. I'll be showing you a glimpse of that. But hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like antler crafts, I've got a whole playlist. I'll try to pop that up here on the screen. If you want to check that playlist out and see all of my antler crafts, you can check those out. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next video.